On this episode, we discuss the debut of artist Boy Soda with his album SOULSTAR. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and welcome back to the program, and welcome to a brand new episode. Before we get underway, we do have to do the Game Rage No Curse Minute, where we kill the first 60 seconds of the program in order to play nice with the YouTube algorithm with no cursing and no swearing whatsoever. And first, I would like to give a quick thanks to everybody that has been listening to our program on RSS, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you've been listening. We appreciate it. And especially those on YouTube that have continued to drive up our view count and subscriber count. We appreciate you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Lastly, we do have another review for you on the way. October 17th, Wilson is coming out with her second album that we are looking forward to. So be on the lookout for that. And that'll be the Game Rage No Curse Minute. So we're going to transition to discussing Boy Soda a bit of a reintroduction to him. So he's an R&B artist based out of Australia, and he did an interview with somebody named A.T. Bianco for his channel Loud Music Only, and it was a 30-minute interview that he did where he asked a bunch of questions. And one of the things that I learned about Boy Soda through this interview is that he used to do karate. I don't know if he still currently does karate, but he was taught by his father, who was a karate instructor, and he credits the martial art for teaching him emotional regulation, to have a bit of a more disciplined and poised attitude towards his music, not being quite as braggadocious or talking about his accolades and what he's done with this or that. And I really appreciate that. I like somebody that is more on the humble side. So I thought that was really cool. And there is a little character which is just him in a silhouette, but he's got like this pose where he's on one foot and he has his arms extended out, and there's like this little star. And he credits Charlie Chaplin for being the inspiration for that pose. Of course, you would know Charlie Chaplin for the old silent films. And I think there was a movie that he did called The Dictator that was also really famous. And well, you know Charlie Chaplin. You should, if you don't, then look him up on Google or Chat GPT or whatever. But uh, and as far as like his aesthetic goes for this specific project, he did it in a monochrome style, like a grayscale, that he says that he wanted it to feel like old photos, like old family photos, which I thought was cool. And if you notice that in the discography, whether that's on Apple Music or Spotify or wherever you're listening, he has like little stars on his face that I thought was a nice little touch. They change colors with every single, but again, this is all tying into the Soul Star album. And as he describes it, or as he talks about, Soulstar is talking about the true North Star within yourself or within your soul. That when it comes to anything in your life, whether it's creative endeavors or I guess professional or literally anything, that your intuition speaks to you more, and you know what you want more than anybody else. You just have to listen to yourself. And I thought that was a very cool concept for an album title. So uh, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the album itself. I do want to take the time to give credits to everybody that worked on the album. So we're going to do that next. We're going to give all the credits to everybody that has worked on this album to make sure that they are mentioned. All right, so I think I'm gonna go off of Lil Obsession because I think it probably is one of the songs that incorporates the most instruments, and everybody that performed on the track is probably on the rest of these songs. And for everybody that did mixing, producing, and mastering, we'll credit those people as well. So from the top, we have Boy Soda, who is Bray Luafalelo, vocals and synthesizer, Ned Olive on alto saxophone, Leia Layla Ni Tagavetua, Lily Enos cello, Hugo Rumere on drums, Nico Dimas Paleo Lagudias. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It sounds like a Greek name. Christoph Nayans on guitar, Finbar Stewart on keyboards, Anthony Rosatano, tenor sax, Sarah Perdon, trumpet, Sierra Sharman, sorry, viola, India Wilson also on violin, Jenny McCullough on violin as well. Composition and lyrics by Bray Luafalelo, and then production and engineering, Boy Soda, Finbar Stewart, Chunky Love on mastering, and Nicolas Mendoza on mixing. So that's everybody, I hope, that we have to credit for this album. Just want to give the proper credits where they are due. And now let's go ahead and get to the album itself. So we're going to listen to the first track from Boy Soda's debut album, SOULSTAR. And this first track is called My Body. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and we'll give it a listen. Once again, that track is called My Body from Boy Soda. Going in. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his track called My Body. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. All right, so I don't have lyrics available to me for all the songs with the exception of the singles, so I'm just going to have to go off of what I think I heard for this song, but overall it was an outstanding track. What I love about this song is how diplomatic it is with how it uses instruments, from the string section to the horn, or rather not the horns, but the saxophones. It's so delicately layered. Oh man, it I hate to use this word, but it is orgasmic. Like, it is so awesome. And as far as what I could extrapolate or what meaning I could take out of the song, it does seem to allude to what I was talking about earlier in the introduction of this episode, where Boy Soda was talking about what SOULSTAR means, which is having a true North Star within yourself, having a true North Star within your soul to know that your intuition can guide you through literally anything. But the confusion that I'm having as far as what is going on. So I'm not sure if Boy Soda is coming out of a relationship and entering a new one, or he's just strictly coming out of a relationship that wasn't good for him, and he's realizing that, and he feels like his whole body is out of alignment and he's trying to find himself again. But whatever the case may be, again, it is a spectacular track, and the technique that was displayed with like the violins, and I don't know what the technique is called itself, of like sliding your finger, but there was moments of that. And then when there's a part where the saxophones crescendo and get louder, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's fucking awesome, man. And it makes me want to, oh man, I feel like uh Iron Man, when his suit starts coming towards him in like that briefcase, like every part starts like forming around his body. I feel like I have an all white outfit, the shirt, like a long sleeve shirt, a wife beater, and white pants. I feel like Usher, like standing in front of a giant fan with wind blasting towards me, and I'm like T-posing. And I feel like that's going to continue with the next track, which you all should be familiar with, and it's called Lil Obsession. Let's go ahead and give it a listen, and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. Once again, the track is called Lil Obsession. Actually, I forgot to mention one important thing within the lyrics, where he says made an impression and came out with a little obsession or something along those lines. And I thought that was very important to mention because it feels like a foreshadowing for the next track, which is Little Obsession, of course. But what a great way to tease the next song. And fuck, this guy he fucking rules, man. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the next track. Boy Soda with his song called Lil Obsession. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's give it a listen. Boy Soda with Lil Obsession, going in. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his song called Lil Obsession. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. I'm at a loss of words for this song because I just love it so dearly, and I want to do it justice. And one of the things that I appreciate about this track, or one of the X factors, is obviously Boy Soda's vocals with the raspy graveliness to his voice and how he belts out notes. It really sells the emotion behind the album, or sorry, the song itself. And it's the cadence in which the chorus is delivered when he says, "If we go no contact, I don't take no pleasure, and the rest is up to destiny at her discretion." That's my shitty falsetto, but yeah, man, it's like you're given the cues of when to sing those parts along when you're listening to the song. And that part where he says in the pre-chorus, "See me, do you see me? Oh, you treat love like it's just a noun." I love that part so much because to me it portrays the ex-partner being possessive, like they're treating love as an object or a possession that they want or need to have, or maybe the person themselves is the possession that they want or need to have. And Boy Soda is trying to distance himself from that person. But it's not just that, it's the way the song is layered with the instruments, with like those twinkly keyboard keys. I mean, literally twinkly. Like it sounds like stars shimmering, which is funny because that's what's on the album art. And then you have like this interluding jazz flute that comes in every now and then. I mean, the fucking thing ends with the saxophone solo. And like I said, every instrument has its moment to shine at some point in the song. And I love that about the two songs that we've heard so far. And man, what else is there to add? The chorus with the backing vocals. If I don't have the names available to me at the moment, but there are some people to credit in the song itself. There's this woman named Jasmine Khan who is one of the backup vocalists, along with Daniel Naus. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And of course, there is Hai Nenu Turangi Tairua, who was also one of the backup vocals for this track. Wow, man. That chorus is something to behold. I want to touch on the lyrics again. In verse 2, he talks or mentions how this ex partner was trying to reach out to him via his bank account. So she would send money and leave a note behind. And he's like, "If I did the same thing back to you, would that not seem crazy?" So this song just hits on all notes for me. I don't have anything else to add, or if I do, I'll mention it on the next track. But yeah, this song is top dog for me. I don't know if that's going to change with the other tracks that we're going to listen to. But let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is called Hit the Road from Boy Soda. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's go ahead and give it a listen. Once again, that track is called Hit the Road from Boy Soda. Going in. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his track called Hit the Road. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Damn, man, we started off so strong with Hit the Road, or sorry, My Body and Lil Obsession, but yeah, this one didn't do it for me. And there were things to like about this track, with Bray or Boy Soda doing his falsetto and the harmonies between the backing vocals and Bray's vocals. Um, really rich. And I love that there are jazz elements incorporated in all the songs that we've heard with the saxophone and stuff. But yeah, this track didn't really do it for me. So I don't have a whole lot to mention about this track. So let's go ahead and move on and get to the next song, which is Never the Same. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital stream platform of choice. Once again, that track is called Never the Same from Boy Soda. Going in. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his track called Never the Same. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. That was an excellent bounce back from Hit the Road, which is a song that I wasn't really too fond of, but this was a great follow up. What I enjoyed about this track is how Boy Soda's vocals really takes us on a emotional journey when he hits those high notes and he hits those low notes, and the harmonies are so rich between himself and the backing vocalists, and it's really one of the highlights of the album so far to have such great choruses. Ah, man, it's so good. And the one critique that I have is that that buzzing guitar, whatever effects that are placed on it, it can be a little bit too much to the point that it becomes a distraction versus Boy Soda's vocals. But other than that, it is a stellar track. And as far as the meaning goes, I'm wondering if this is Boy Soda being on the losing end of a relationship or one that is falling out, contrasted by the first two songs where he was the one that was walking out of a relationship. And I like the lyrics and how it talks about being lost in the woods, and how initially, when things started out, the kindle or the fire that was burning between them, she felt it too. And when things started to fall apart, the rain came down. And there's this part where he says, "The weatherman said there's a storm on the way. Cruel to admit that it ended this way," implying that they have reached the end of their relationship. Uh, yeah, there's nothing really else to add about this song. Once again, it is a great follow up to Hit the Road. So let's see what else Boy Soda has in store for us. And we're going to listen to the next track, which is A Father's Heart. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. Let's give it a listen. Once again, that song is called A Father's Heart. Going in. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his song called A Father's Heart. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. There's so much to dissect and parse out of the lyrics, which I think is the star of this song. Boy Soda talks about the dynamics within his own family, talking about a grandfather who was an alcoholic, and I think he alludes to an uncle as well, and how he doesn't care for that side of his family and he's cut them off because they've sapped all the energy, all the life out of his own father. And I like this part where he says, "Don't reach out to me. I'll meet you at the gates, at the gates, at the gates," alluding to in the afterlife when things are all said and done on earth and everybody passes away. The only time that you're going to talk to me is at the gates. And he shares a little bit about how his father sacrificed not only for his own family, his father, his mother, assuming his brother as well, and the life that he created on his own with his own wife, Boy Soda, and whatever siblings that Boy Soda has, and to juggle between this to make both sides happy, but at the expense of your own health, your own finances and stuff. Like, it's very touching and very deep to have Boy Soda make a track about his father. And, that makes a lot of sense, talking about how Boy Soda's father was a karate instructor and why he was so disciplined and how he could regulate his own emotions and manage to do all these things for both sides of his family. I mean, that is a superhero in so many words. Well, at the expense of sacrificing his own personal sanity and health. But I think what comes across here is how much Boy Soda loves his own father and how much he's done for everybody. And I think that's very touching. And yeah, this was a very solemn track, but let's go ahead and get to the next one. Fuck, man, that that really got to me. All right, so the next track we're gonna get to is 4K featuring Dean Brady. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and we're gonna listen to 4K from Boy Soda, Going In. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his track called 4K. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. You know what I like about the songs we've heard from Boy Soda is how they have this natural like sway and groove to them. It feels very natural, and uh the lyrics don't seem to match up. I don't know if they are outdated and the song changed over the course of time, but at least from what I can understand from the lyrics that are available is that you still have the memory of an ex-partner that you had, and they still come through crystal clear in 4K. And yes, things fell apart, but uh, if there are gonna be a problem, and if you're still kind of obsessing over, well, not obsessing over them, but if you still have them in your memory and you still think good of them, that if the ex partner decides to switch up on you and spread rumors or defame you, that whatever rosy image that you have in your head or whatever good memories you have, that maybe it's probably best to keep your distance away from them and just leave it at that. Don't push anything. And yeah, another enjoyable track. It was one of the singles that was released in anticipation of the album. I think it's a great track. And let's go ahead and get to the next one because I think this is another single, if I'm not mistaken, that was also released. Oh, actually, no, no, it is. Yeah, yeah. So Blink Twice is the next track. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and we're gonna get to Blink Twice from Boy Soda going in. All right, welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his track called Blink Twice. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Another banger, man. I like the world that he's building within this track, talking about an apocalyptic scenario and making the comparison of people being like zombies. And yeah, from what I could take away from the meaning as far as the song goes, is perhaps reconciling with an old partner or an ex partner, I guess, and you're trying to convince them, like, no, this isn't just me persuading you to get something out of you or whatever it is. Like, I'm literally speaking with conviction. Like, I want this to work, and any outside haters that are trying to tell you otherwise, don't believe them. Don't believe the zombies or the critics. We're gonna make it, and it's all portrayed in this doomsday scenario. Like, there's a sense of urgency. And yeah, I really enjoyed the track. This one, by comparison to the others, feels more stripped back with the synthesizer and the keys that open the song, and the snare drum, like the drummer hitting the rim of the snare drum to give that sound. But it's just a very tight drum kit sound. And uh and the appearances of the saxophones are a little bit more sporadic here, but that is to sell their impact on the most important parts of the song, most notably at the part where he says, but the difference between hearing and listening is infinite, and conviction ain't the same as convincing. So hear me, don't listen. The way that is written with how the instruments are arranged for that specific part, oh man, that is such a delight to my ears. This man, I don't know what else to say about Boy Soda, but the whole team that he's working with, in addition to himself, they really know how to write a song, and I hope the consistency of quality plays out for the rest of the album. So let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is called Good Morning. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice and let's give it a listen. Once again, that track is called Good Morning. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his track called Good Morning. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Good morning. Ooh, no, I'm just kidding. This song, oddly enough, gave me some Steve Lacy vibes. I don't know if I'm crazy in saying that, but you can let me know in the comments if I am. But I don't like using these words because I'm not an affectionate person, but this was a rather cute song talking about the mornings that you wake up with your loved one or your romantic partner, from smoking the devil's lettuce on the balcony of the hotel that you're staying at, making breakfast, going out and eating and just enjoying yourselves, and having a glass of gin in the evening. It's very romantic, and I like the euphemisms of like getting in motion and like rocking the boat or something like that, referring to sex. But yeah, I I really like this song. And as far as other lyrics that stood out to me, there was this part in the latter portion of the song where he says, "A pillar in my life, moving like a wife, a divine feminine Parthenon." Not only to say that this person is beautiful, but that they are a pillar of love and that they will stand the test of time. I really enjoyed that. So that was one of the other parts that I liked about the song. But let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is called PM. Oh, that's kind of funny. We had Good Morning, and then we have PM. Maybe we get a song about the nighttime. I don't know. We'll see. But let's go ahead and give PM a listen. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. Once again, that is PM from Boy Soda going in. All right, welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his track called PM, and I was mistaken. This song is not about the daytime, it is actually about the nighttime and a relationship that has gone awry. And this person, an ex partner, is now trying to reach out to you and confiding in you at night, and you're not having it. As far as like how I felt about the song, I was kind of lukewarm ultimately. There are some amazing parts, especially in the chorus when the I think they're trumpets, if I'm not mistaken, and it comes in the chorus. It's like Bennett, Bent, 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 Bennett, Bent, 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 and then there was this part where something is done to Boy Soda's vocals where it comes across like something in the air tonight, where Phil Collins' vocals sound like they're coming out of a television. And it's at the part where he says, yeah, hit you in the PM, like, and then, yeah, so that during that whole part, Boy Soda's vocals sound like they're coming out of a television. I thought that was really cool. But this song kind of came across as more boy bandish, and I wasn't really too fond of that or on that. But I'm lukewarm. I'm somewhere in between, and I'll give it a half point. I don't want to give it a 0, but yeah, it's a 0.5 for me. Lukewarm about the track. But let's go ahead and get to the next one, which is Slippery. So let's go ahead and give that a listen. So this is Slippery from Boy Soda. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and let's give it a listen going in. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with Slippery. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. So this is one of the songs that didn't have lyrics available. I've been able to find lyrics for the other songs on YouTube, but this one didn't have anything. As far as what I could take away from the song, it sounds like Boy Soda is concerned about his partner being away from home a lot, and maybe to the point that he's becoming suspicious. And it's all done in this 90s or 80s R&B style that I thought was very cool. And to top this whole song off, there is a excellent saxophone solo, and I can't get enough of the saxophone. I mean, whatever way it appears or whatever way it manifests on songs, I can't get enough of it. So let's go ahead and get to the next track, which is called, let me pull it up real quickly. The next track is called Find a Way. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice and let's give it a listen. Once again, it's called Find a Way from Boy Soda going in. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his song called Find a Way. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. So this was a track that I thought was something akin to The Weeknd, or perhaps music that could have been made by The Weeknd. And I think there's a lot of commercial value in this track. What stood out to me is I liked the analogy of comparing a relationship to being like the ocean where there's ebbs and flows. And when he's talking about trouble in the relationship, he compares it to, well, it's not just a sea breeze, it's brewing into something else like a storm or a hurricane. And that he's put a lot of effort into this relationship when he says, I've put wind in your sails. And this girl is trying to, get back in his life or whatever it is. And he makes the comparison of this angelic figure, this woman, to possibly being a devil, where he says, oh, angels in disguise can't get me. I don't know if he's trying to say that this woman is like a devil, but I also liked the song breathing, taking moments to pause and having like this staccato like play style. And this was a very cool track. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So let's go ahead and get to the next one, which we're getting very close to the end of the album. I think we only have two songs left. So we're going to get to the next track, and the next song is called Selfish. So pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. Once again, that track is called Selfish from Boy Soda. Let's go ahead and give it a listen. Going in. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his track called Selfish. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. All right. I liked this track because it's such a throwback to 80s R&B, and Boy Soda has showcased a lot of sides of themselves and different iterations of R&B, from more contemporary to like 80s and 90s stuff. And here I get like Roger Troutman vibes. I hope I'm not off on that, but that's like the vibe I get, like Roger Troutman vibes, from Zap. And as far as what I could take away from the lyrics, it sounds like he's weary about opening himself up to another person, like talking about his own personal feelings. And he is following up from the previous song, talking about the imagery of oceans, where like he himself is a body of water, and that yes, he knows that things are strange with himself and he might have some inner turmoil and the waters might be choppy, but he hopes that this girl or this partner that he's with is willing to ride with him and not go off to warmer waters or a different place or a different partner, and to weather the storm with him. And I think he mentions in the song that once he opens himself up to this person, that she's taking on everybody, like his cousins, uh the grieving of his mother, like there's a lot of stuff to come with him when he opens up with this relationship, and I thought that was very beautiful. Um and I don't have anything else to add for this track. I think it's another banger from Boy Soda. So let's go ahead and finish strong with the last track, which is called. This song is called Platonic and Sacred. So let's go ahead and give it a listen. Pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. Platonic and Sacred from Boy Soda, going in. Welcome back. That was Boy Soda with his track called Platonic and Sacred. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. All right. I'm not going to lie. I expected this album to end on a acoustic song, and it fucking did. And I don't know if that's stereotypical of artists, but they always do this. But nonetheless, this was a fantastic track to end on. To do a bossa nova style song, it really shows the versatility of Boy Soda, and there's so much to pick apart that I really loved. In terms of like the instrumentals, I love how it started off with the acoustic guitar and the slightest bit of pattering from the drums, and of course Boy Soda's vocals, if I didn't already say that. And then it starts to really layer on the vocals from the backing singers with the ooh, and yeah, we have the jazz flute that at times elevates or accentuates Boy Soda's vocals. And then at the very end, there is like a ukulele that plays some bent notes that gives off a very beach or tropical vibes, as if we already don't get that idea with the bossa nova stylings. As far as what I could hear from the words, it sounds like Boy Soda is wondering or contemplating about a relationship that he had with somebody, and whether they will ever get back to being together again. And he's, you know, in his own head, and it's a very somber way to end the album. I actually thought it was going to end on a higher note or even a happy note, but it appears this album is left on a more melancholic, bittersweet, to be continued, perhaps on the next album. But let's go ahead and get to the final thoughts and score for the album. So, final thoughts I'd like to add about Boy Soda's SOULSTAR is this is an exceptional body of work, and I love how he worked through different stylings of R&B, from the more retro to the more contemporary, and he just threw in a bossa nova song at the very end, which I thought was very cool. The complexity of the songs with the numerous layerings of all kinds of instruments, from saxophones to jazz flutes, um, synthesizers, keyboards, piano. Oh man, and the singing is off the charts good. And shout outs to everybody that did backing vocals. This was an incredible listen. I advise anybody to check out this album. Please do it. And while I don't think it is perfect, I only knocked him for 1.5 songs. So that worked out to about 88% or closer to 89%. But I can't see myself giving this album anything less than a 9. Like, there's a lot of songs I gave bonus points to, like Lil Obsession and A Father's Heart, because of how deep and personal it gets with his own family. And, he didn't have to do something like that, but he's open and transparent on this album. And I feel like that should be rewarded. But like I said, there was so many great songs all across the board, with the exception of Hit the Road and maybe PM, but I couldn't take away that much because I just thoroughly enjoyed this album. And once again, I'm giving this score of 9 out of 10. Once again, Boy Soda's SOULSTAR album is a 9 out of 10 for me. Give it a listen. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. It was an emotional ride. And that'll be it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all next time. I'll see you later.